An elderly woman out walking her dog suddenly caught a glimpse of the blue and white shoe among the stones. She phoned from the telephone box near the bridge just as Eva had done. When the police arrived, she was standing somewhat self-consciously by the bank with her back to the corpse. One of the officers, whose name was Carlson, was first out of the car. He smiled politely when he caught sight of the woman and glanced inquisitively at her dog. "He's a Chinese crested," she said. It really was an intriguing creature, tiny, wrinkled, and very pink. It had a thick tuft of dirty yellow hair on the crown of its head, but was otherwise entirely bald. "What's his name?" he asked amicably. "Adam," she replied. He nodded and smiled, diving into the car's trunk for the case of equipment. The policeman struggled with the dead man for a while, but eventually got him up on the bank, where they placed him on a tarpaulin. He wasn't a big man. He just looked that way after his sojourn in the water. The woman with the dog retreated a little. The team worked quietly and precisely. The photographer took pictures. A forensic pathologist knelt by the tarpaulin and made notes. Most deaths had trivial causes, and they weren't expecting anything unusual. Perhaps a drunk who toppled into the water. There were gangs of them under the bridge and along the footpaths in the evenings. This one was somewhere between 20 and 40, slim, but with a beer belly, blonde, not particularly tall. Carlson pulled a rubber glove onto his right hand and carefully raised the dead man's clothing. "Stab wounds," he said tersely. "Several of them. Let's turn him over." They fell silent. The only sound was that of rubber gloves being put on and pulled off, the quiet click of the camera, the breath of one or another of them, and the crackling of the plastic sheeting which they spread out by the side of the body. "I wonder," Carlson muttered, "if we haven't found Einerchen at long last." The man's wallet had gone, if he'd ever had one. But his wristwatch was there, a gaudy affair with a lot of extras, like the time in New York and Tokyo and London. Its black strap had dug into his swollen wrist. The corpse had been in the water a long time and had presumably been carried by the current from further upstream, and so the location of the find wasn't of special interest. Even so, they inspected it a bit, searching the bank for possible footprints, but found only a plastic can which had once contained antifreeze and an empty cigarette packet. A number of people had gathered up on the path, mostly youngsters. Now they were craning their necks to steal a glance at the body on the tarpaulin. Decomposition was well underway. The skin had loosened from the body, especially on the hands, as if he were wearing oversized gloves. It was very discoloured. His eyes, which had once been green, were transparent and pale. His hair was falling out in great tufts. His face had puffed up and made his features indistinct. The fauna of the river, crayfish, insects, and fish, had all tucked in greedily. The stab wounds in his side were great gaping gashes in the ashen-white flesh. "I used to fish here," said one of the boys on the path. He'd never seen a dead body in all his 17 years. He didn't really believe in death, just as he didn't believe in God, because he'd never seen either of them. He hunched his chin into the collar of his jacket and shivered. From now on, anything was possible. The post-mortem report arrived a fortnight later. Inspector Conrad Sejer had called 5 people to a conference room situated in one of the trailers behind the courthouse. They'd been erected there in more recent times owing to lack of space. A row of offices hidden from the public in which most people had never seen apart from the unhappy souls who came into more intimate contact with the police. Some things had already been established. They knew the man's identity. They'd got that right away because the name Joran was engraved on his wedding ring. A file from the previous October contained all the information.